First ever North American tree climbing championship!
The final awards ceremony in Forsyth Park culminated 2 days of international caliber tree climbing competition. 4 days of dedicated volunteers giving their time and energy to set up and run the event.
And even if it's running a stopwatch at an event or just the simplest of tasks, or even being a technician in the tree, once you do it, you're hooked. It's that simple.
And more than a year of planning and behind-the-scenes work to turn an idea into reality.
It probably started last February when the seeds started getting sown.
A collaborative effort that tied together judges, techs, climbers, organizers, and sponsors.
This absolutely could not have happened without the major financial support of people like Husqvarna and Oregon Chain or Oregon Cutting Systems, Brush Bandit. Cheryl Tree is a major sponsor. It couldn't have happened without them. Companies like Vermeer, North American Training Solutions, Arborware, Petzl, Right Tree is a major sponsor as well. It couldn't have happened without their support.
We have a long-standing tradition, being in the industry, and for us, continuing that partnership, continuing to work together with participants in the industry, leaders in the industry, and continuing to move the industry forward. For us is paramount, and we want to continue to stay connected to that.
Those in the trees and those on the ground, all working for the same goal: to bring to life the first ever North American Tree Climbing Championship.
I mean, I've seen the best in 3 different states so far, and now I'm at the North American. What a life.
After more than a year of planning, the final steps in launching the competition start with the first boots on the ground in Savannah's Forsyth Park.
There's all kinds of opportunity here to do some real cool.
I mean, this could be the work climb tree too.
Co-chairs Brian Maxson and Scott Proffitt, along with head judge Andrew Hordijk and head technician Tim Bushnell, survey the trees that will make up the individual events for the competition.
Aerial rescue. Oh, aerial rescue.
Right.
The 2 trees further on, or
throw line
throw
down
line?
in the corner. Yep.
Down that way. Women's
awesome.
masters.
Yep.
Work climb.
Yep.
Men's masters, and if we do a measurement and head-to-head footlock works, then that's where it'll be.
Yeah, we can make it work in that tree.
Their combined years of experience allow them to visualize how each event will run and anticipate any problems that may slow down or complicate a day of competition.
So if they don't want to use it, then you just take it off, and that's their line that they use.
Or have 2 lines. Have a raptor line and have an ascent line right beside each other, and you just pull it off to the side. And, yeah, the raptor, or use your ascent tools. Oh, yeah.
Trusting in their own decisions, but relying on their flexibility to deal with the fluid dynamics of 5 events, 66 competitors, and hundreds of spectators packed into a public park.
I just love this, like for a Masters Challenge, when we had that at the Internationals, I forget if it was Minneapolis, when they had the low limb. I mean, for the audience, for the wow factor, this is something like that's real nice.
With the D-Day plans laid out, the army of volunteers arrives.
Kevin, how you doing, man?
Like the competitors to come, the volunteers come from across the continent.
The team that comes to work on these events is very skilled. They all bring a different level of skill. We have some very accomplished climbers. We have folks with organizational skills, as well as all the guys that help out wherever needed. What's nice is that they're all able to serve in a lot of different roles. And as we put these things together, it's really nice to be able to work with them all to make a safe, efficient competition.
An event like NATCC, oftentimes a reunion for friends seen once a year at best.
How you doing, Scotty? How are you, man? How are you? Awesome. Good to see you.
Donating their time for their love of the trees, love of the competition, and the genuine camaraderie for their brothers in arms.
It's a good group of people to be with. down to earth. You just use the definition good people. That's what you have here.
We keep saying it, but it's the people. It's, it's hanging out with these guys and the girls. Everyone that's here is hanging out with all of these people and having a good time and sharing stories and sharing a pint of beer when the day's done. That's what it's really about.
And then we want to thank you so much for showing up, because we couldn't do this without the support of the team. But obviously, everybody's come from far and wide, and we really appreciate everybody showing up today, because we definitely have a hard job and a hard task to make this go. No shorts for us Canadians. We would love to be wearing shorts right now because it's -20 at home.
We would not want to see that, though. Where did you come from? Alberta, Canada. Is Alberta the furthest someone's traveled to be here? Anyone further than Alberta, Canada?
Why you always got to one-up us, man?
Let's give them a round of applause. Yeah, thank you.
As the setup begins, a recurring call goes out that will echo through the weekend. Safety first.
And before anybody goes up in the trees, the gear's got to be inspected, okay? You'll have a form with a clipboard, get your pen or pencil, and that gear inspection has to happen before anybody goes up in the tree, okay?
Before the first throw bag ever sails overhead, techs carry out safety inspection on each other's gear with the same intensity and eye for detail they'll use on competitors' gear.
Okay, so here's my beaner I'm going to use here.
This is your foot lock presser?
Yes, sir.
A continuing drumbeat for safety that's intended to stick with the participants, climbers, techs, judges, and general public long after the contest ends.
The importance of safety just comes from trying to make sure everyone goes home at night. I mean, for me, that's the biggest deal. I want to keep doing this for a long time, and I want to make sure everybody I work with, these guys are all family, and most of these guys I know, see them year after year, so. And, to bring our level of professionalism up as an industry, it's very important that we stay safe and maintain a safe, proper working environment. So a lot of what you see here does transfer over into the real working world. A lot of people come to these things and learn a lot about safety through learning these techniques that other people demonstrate. So this is a really great way for people to come in that are just beginning and to see that there's techniques that are not only faster but more energy efficient, and as well as being twice as safe as what they're used to.
This first ever North American competition would be run like any other tree climbing contest, following the format and scoring rules and regulations established by ISA. 5 preliminary events: throw line,
Beautiful. Right in the crotch.
belayed footlock, belayed speed climb, work climb, and aerial rescue. The top prelim competitors then going on to a Masters Challenge competition, along with a head-to-head footlock competition.
I mean, for a straight scramble, this is great. But think of this. Tim and Andrew and Scott, all 3 of them might say, how about adding 1 lateral? Because that's only about 45 foot.
Unlike Europe and Asia Pacific, until this year, North America was the only continent not to hold a separate championship, depending on chapter contests as the only competition for climbers before the international.
I do see this as a stepping ground. It's probably a long time coming, and this will help make the event, the international event, more truly international, I think, and maybe give us the opportunity to move it around some more.
I think it's awesome. We have our chapter events and they go to the internationals. The Europeans have their chapter events, then they go to a European contest, and then that winner goes to the internationals. Anything that we can do that takes the industry a step further is great.
But this inaugural contest would not be officially sanctioned by ISA on its own. In order to receive recognition of the results and allow the winners to advance to the international contest, it would need to be held in conjunction with an established ISA competition. In this case, the ISA Southern Chapter's annual Tree Climbing Championship.
Looks like you could stage 3 or 4 climbers there.
Yeah, it'd be a lot. We
That's-
just don't have a good access up this side.
That's really cool.
Timing and location was also a logistical concern. The Southern Chapter's warm weather location meant the contest could be held early in the year, and both NATCC co-chairs were affiliated with the Southern Chapter, so they were familiar with the available parks and resources in the region. Add to that, Forsyth Park in Savannah, Georgia, had successfully hosted competitions in years past, and it seemed a natural choice to muster the Army of Volunteers in the historic city park.
Beautiful city, amazing trees, and outstanding team to work with here.
Doesn't even matter who it is.
What I want to know is how many of you are excited about this first ever North American Tree Climbing Championship. The events are great, they're exciting, and they're going to be challenging, and we're going to have a good time. And remember, it's all about learning and having fun, and obviously a little competition too.
A unique feature of this tree climbing championship was the sheer number of competitors. Being held in conjunction with Southern's annual chapter championship meant holding open a full roster of 20 slots for Southern climbers, then a men's and women's slot for each of the rest of the chapters across North America.
I'd like to know how many people came from within 100 miles. Raise your hands. 500 miles? 1,000 miles? Anybody north of the border in Canada? Let the party begin.
The final count, 66 climbers showed up to test their tree workers' skills. But they also came to reconnect with friends and share tricks of the trade, something they do even as they compete against each other.
To see a lot of really good climbers and some new techniques, and to hang out with my friend Rick Dimbo. Like, this is what I came for. Rick Dimbo. It's like a band, man.
I'm just here to pick up a new trick or two. Try and learn something.
I'm pretty excited to meet some more people and learn new tricks. I have a lot of talent here. It's going to be a good time.
Sharing knowledge is a huge part of tree climbing championships at chapter, national, or even international levels of competition.
Coming to these competitions, all these guys, they teach me something every time I climb with them.
Judging is less on the nerves, but it's fun competing and it's fun being with my pals. I can feel the love that surrounds me, and it's a beautiful thing.
You know, being around such good people, and you always learn something new. And so just trying to stay up with everything, and just love the competition, love being around it.
A lot of people, tight competition, a lot of good climbers. So yeah, it's gonna be a good day.
So you put this sheath on it before
With 66 climbers involved in the competition, gear inspection became a Herculean task. With each climber packing 300 feet or more of line, a dozen carabiners, lanyards, prusik loops, and a myriad of other gear, inspectors eventually hand-examined more than 3 miles of rope, hundreds of pieces of hardware, every stitch, rivet, and connector on every saddle.
We still have the problem on PEM being 195 and you not.
And once individual components had been checked, climbers had to demonstrate and defend anything beyond a standard climbing hitch they intended to use in the aerial rescue event.
Flip in, and take this, choke the branch. You mind choke your arm?
I'll show you.
Choke the branch, come in, flip in, pass to a dummy, and then bring him down single line. And this would act as, I could put a carabiner, pretty much 2 to 1, lift him up, get him off, bring him down.
With a 7 a.m. start time on the first day of preliminaries, Forsyth Park quickly filled with eager climbers, techs, and judges in the pre-dawn twilight.
Good morning! All right. How's everybody doing today? Had a good sleep? All's well? All right. In order to get the ball rolling here, we did roll call yesterday, so we know that you're here and who's not here. We're going to get everybody to go to their events, judges, techs, and climbers to your first rotation. So check your sheets, and basically the game's going to begin in about 19 minutes. So have fun, climb safe, and learn lots. We'll see you at the end of the day.
And as the sun started to burn through the early morning haze, the blare of an air horn pierced the relative quiet and brought to life the 5 event stations.
1, 2, 3, go!
Joe, you all right? Let me see what happened to Joe.
Climbers attacked the events with the skill and talent the best in North America had to offer. The Techs had set up the events to challenge the competitors, and they responded.
I set it up going, yeah, there's no way, and they hit it.
Although the true scramble nature of the belayed speed climb did prove a worthy test for even these top-notch athletes.
Holy jeez. You bastards.
Good job.
That bell keeps getting high. That's a long way.
Good climb.
Clear.
Climbers were assigned to one of 8 groups and rotated between the events on a set schedule with breaks to prevent groups from overlapping at an event.
Group A to speed climb.
Allowing for an hour and a half for each group at each event, organizers had scheduled the preliminaries to run all day Saturday and then pick up again and finish Sunday morning. The head-to-head footlock competition and Masters Challenge would then follow on Sunday afternoon.
We're serious about stuck lines. If I can cut 20 feet off your line and get the ball to come down, that's what we're going to do. You got new
But with the efficiency of the judges and techs at each event, and talent of the climbers who ripped through the events in near record times, it suddenly became apparent that Sunday morning preliminaries would not be needed.
We also set a precedent by getting 67 climbers through all the rotations, preliminary rounds in one day.
One of the many unsung heroes working behind the scenes was the one-man scoring team of Vince Condon, alternately racing across the park collecting score sheets, or hunched over his laptop under a donated blue parasol to shield the screen against the bright sunlight, tallying the scores almost as fast as groups finished events. Of course, no good deed goes unpunished. With a 3-hour window now open on Sunday morning, climbers from the Southern chapter floated a request to use the time to hold a Masters Challenge just for their climbers, something that would have happened if the event was not being held in conjunction with the NATCC.
Southern, 10 to 11:30, right? 12 to, and you could go, girls could go right after that. You just roll them right in. So let's say
by agreement in setting up the dual event, the Masters Challenge would be for the North American Championship. A Southern chapter champion would be determined by best finish in the preliminaries among Southern climbers.
It goes to the North American Masters.
yes. Right. Well, then that's different. I guess maybe we need to see what comes up there.
Thank you.
Because then what happens, then you may have a guy run 2 Masters.
Yeah.
The unintended gap in the schedule opened an incredible can of worms.
Can't make everybody happy. You're going to piss somebody off. Even when you make them all happy, there'll be one mad.
The logistics of arranging for techs, judges, and scorers, time needed for setting and resetting the tree itself to serve as a Masters Challenge event, and the possibility of a conflict should a Southern chapter climber qualify for both his chapters and the North American Masters proved too daunting to address on the spur of the moment.
Everything went perfectly today. How often does that happen?
We gained 3 hours.
Yeah. There was an opportunity, a special opportunity, but I think you have to stick with what the original plan was. Because if you set that precedent and then there's an expectation for Birmingham to do the same thing, if we change it for next year and have a longer schedule, so be it. But I don't think we should change it just because everything went perfect.
All right.
I think that was really well.
This is why
said.
he makes the big bucks.
I think that was.
Yeah, no.
You know that was very well put. And
yeah, right. I love you, man.
I was not.
In the end, it was decided to stick with the plan as written and leave any possible changes to next year's NATCC committee. Saturday's prelims proved a decided success for climbers, organizers, and the spectators who marveled at the performances, and proved an inspiration to some who may become the tree climbing champions of tomorrow.
So Robert, you're telling me that you climb trees. When, how old are you?
I'm 12.
You're 12? When did you start climbing trees?
When I was 8.
8? Do you just go in your backyard and climb trees, or do you use ropes?
I use ropes.
Ropes? Do you use a saddle?
Yep.
Yeah. What kind of saddle do you use?
I got a weaver.
A weaver saddle? What kind of rope do you climb on?
Lays.
So how high do you climb?
As high as I can get.
High as you get? Where do you live?
Hollywood, Florida.
Hollywood, Florida. They have tall trees in Hollywood?
Not much.
Not much? How tall are the tallest trees?
Probably about 50, 60 feet.
50, 60 feet? So you go that high?
Normally 30, because they're not that high there.
Do you use carabiners or snaps, or what do you
Carabiners.
use? Carabiners. And what kind of friction hitch do you use?
I use a 8mm beeline and I tie a swaybush.
Wow, that's really cool. What's your favorite thing about climbing trees?
Just climbing.
Climbing.
Sunday morning dawned clear and crisp as a select group of climbers faced a first-of-its-kind Masters Challenge.
Obviously in the top 8 climbers in North America, so that's an amazing thing. Congratulations, and no matter what happens today, you guys are always going to be the first top 8. So, awesome job.
With the Masters Challenge climbers preparing, the vertical drag racing of head-to-head footlock warmed up the crowd.
Way to go! That's it, Jimmy!
The Masters Challenge itself has always proven a test for all of a climber's skills. It has also been a challenge for judges and techs. In the past, winners have been determined by mere fractions of a point. Judges on the ground and techs in the tree stay in constant communication, making sure every move is scored accordingly.
She's now off her SRT line. Copy. Hooked into a dynamic system now. Clipped in. Rope angle is just fine. Thank you.
late afternoon, the final numbers have been tallied, and the awards for all weekend events handed out. For the organizers, volunteers, and competitors, this inaugural NATCC proved a successful test, a chance for the best climbers on the continent to test their talents against each other, and a test for the organizers and volunteers in setting up and running a national-level competition. Like the evolution of early jamborees to the tree climbing competitions of today, the NATCC has now proven itself a next logical step in North American competition.